Forgotten Realms, Edition 3.5, Twin Towers of the Eternal Eclipse, Part 2. The minor cleric and lesser mage's room each house 2 minor clerics, all of Cleric, and the lesser mage. Each person has a bed, a small desk, and a chest with an average lock, open lock DC 25. The meeting room features a long table and 12 chairs. Maps of and Tither hang on the walls with trade routes marked and a record of known caravans posted nearby. The clerics, mages, captains, and lieutenants meet here to discuss plans such as banditry against caravans, military strikes against other churches, recruitment, and so on. There are quarters for 2 Clericist captains. Each room has a bed, a small desk, and a chest with an average lock, open lock DC 25. There is the quarters of Zashir, the tower steward. He commands the servants and is responsible for tracking the tower supplies and requisitioning more goods. Zashir is a coward and surrenders if threatened by invaders. The room has a bed and a small desk and a chest with an average lock, open lock DC 25. The door to the religious items room is painted with the symbol of Cleric. The room contains the ceremonial robes and other religious items used by the clerics during ceremonies and rituals. The door has a good lock, open lock DC 30. Any person aside from the clerics who handles these items without permission is sentenced to death. Some of the items are made of or contain precious materials. If these items are collected, they weigh a total of 25 pounds and are worth 500 gold pieces. All bear symbolic or symbols of Cleric. A hidden compartment, search DC 20, in the back of the room holds 6 scrolls placed for use if the tower is attacked. Only the lesser clerics and Black Will know the scrolls are here. 1. Chaos, Hammer, Word of Chaos. 2. Circle of Doom, Disintegrate. 3. Blasphemy, Unholy Blight. 4. Confusion, Phantasmal Killer. 5. Flame Strike. 5. Flame Strike, Summon Monster 7. 6. Blade Barrier, Destruction. Bandeliers Lair is a large room and contains little more than a pair of staircases, 4 pillars, and an alarm bell. It is also the lair of Sebeskin, a Bandelier in the service of the temple. Everyone who lives in the tower, including all the soldiers, are introduced to the creature so it may recognize them later. It rings the alarm and attacks if it notices intruders. The Bandelier carries a ring of protection, +2, and a wand of magic missiles, 5th level caster, 23 charges at all times. A small shelf near the top of the southeast pillar contains the rest of its personal treasure, 632 gold pieces in a leather sack. which it sometimes uses to bribe other residents of the tower for information and lifestyle. When here, the Bandelier coils about one of the pillars near the ceiling. It is familiar with the tactics of the other beings that live on its floor and coordinates its attacks appropriately. Sebastian knows the invisibility and sees invisibility spells and often wanders the tower in search of invisible invaders. The residence of a lesser cleric's door is protected by a glyph of warding. Inflicts serious wounds. 3d8 plus 7. Will half DC 14. Search DC 28. Disable device DC 28. Set to react to anyone who touches the door without first speaking the password, known only to this cleric and to Blackwell Acmelier himself. The room has a bed, a small desk, and a chest with an average lock, open lock DC 25. The residence of a mage of the church's doors is locked. No, the residence of a mage of the church's door is locked by an arcane spell lock. The room has a bed, small desk, and a chest with an average lock, open lock, DC 25. A room is the roof of one of the towers used as a balcony. The door to the balcony is an iron door with a good lock, open lock DC 30, and is always warded by an arcane lock spell. This balcony is an excellent vantage point for hurling spells at times when the tower is under attack. The roof of the secondary tower is normally used as an observation point, but it has been the site of several accidental falls that resulted in the death of more than one upstart cleric or soldier. The door to the balcony is an iron door with a good lock, open lock DC 30. The soldier stands guard at this point at all hours, and a large bell can be struck to alert the tower. This is the room of Blackwell Acmelier. Blackwell Acmelier, the high priest of this temple. His title is the Watchful Skull, and within the temple he normally dresses in his ceremonial armor and priestly garb. The door is protected by a greater glyphs of warding, slave living, fort partial DC 19, search DC 31, disable device DC 31, set to react to anyone other than Blackwell himself. The room has a large luxurious bed, a large desk, a sturdy and comfortable chair, and a chest with a good lock, open lock DC 30. The room is the roof of one of the towers, used as a balcony. The door to the balcony is an iron door with an amazing quality lock. It is also warded by greater glyphs of warding identical to the one on the door. This balcony is an excellent vantage point for hurling spells at times when the tower is under attack, but Blackwell typically uses it to enjoy some fresh air. In the eastern tower of the Eternal Eclipse, this room is occupied by Alma Kolovnov, the Bloody, the second most powerful cleric at the Twin Towers. She loathes Blackwell, but knows she cannot defeat him without help. Blackwell Akmalir was born of a merchant family in the Tetherian capital of Darmar. He joined the Church of Bane when traveling with a caravan to where he was an unexceptional cleric. When Bane died during the time of troubles, Blackwell converted early to the worship of Cleric, a move that allowed him to rocket to a station unavailable to him under the old church. He was one of the leaders of the army that sacked the Twin Towers, and he later claimed it for his own when all the other leaders died or left under mysterious circumstances. Blackwell has gathered a large number of loyal Cyricists under his command and feels confident in his ability to detect or defeat those who would try to remove him from his position. His years in the service of Bane taught him the need for discipline, information, and preparation, which helps him maintain control of his temple. A profane, unholy chamber stinks of evil and human sacrifice. All but a 10-foot wide path around the perimeter of the room is inlaid with dull gray tiles. A tall brazier stands in the corner of each room, decorated with motifs of skulls, closed eyes, and bloody weapons. The center part of the tile mosaic changes to purple tiles that form a sunburst, at the center of which is a 2-foot tall pedestal in the shape of a jawless skull and adorned with white tiles. The entire room is warded by an unhallowed spell, with the secondary effect of protection from elements fire on anyone who holds Cleric as their patron. Lining the outer perimeter of the room are 20 skeletons marked as 20 skeletons, each wearing full plate and holding a longsword. Each was given unlife by Blackwell. They attack anyone who isn't a cleric or Cleric, because clerics gain a +4 profane bonus to rebuke undead here. Any cleric of Cleric has a good chance to be able to command these skeletons into service. While the skeletons are too weak to be much of a threat against most attackers that would be able to penetrate this part of the tower, they are good at slaying weak but lucky foes or delaying those of moderate power. The ceiling has 4 trapdoors, each locked with an amazing lock, open lock DC 40, and guarded by a greater glyphs of warding. Slay living, fort partial DC 19, search DC 31, disable device DC 31. Triggered by anyone not of the Cyricist religion. Only Blackwell and the lesser clerics have copies of the key. High rituals to Cleric are performed here, ranging from human sacrifice to ordaining new clerics to summoning demons and other creatures to serve the Dark Sun. While they may be generally undisciplined and chaotic, Blackwell's soldiers are trained in certain tactics to deal with attacks against the tower, particularly those that manage to penetrate its defenses. Standard procedure is to sound the alarm bell, then send volley after volley of arrows into whatever external threat appears. If the enemy has defenses against arrows, is capable of making magical attacks, including the presence of a spellcaster, or is otherwise a strange creature capable of ignoring such damage and still harming the tower or its inhabitants, such as a chimera or dragon, the spellcaster of the tower bolsters the tower's defenses and lashes out magically against their foes. If an alarm sounds, the first groups to arrive are 2 squads of 6 soldiers, each led by a lieutenant, EL6 each group. The lieutenants evaluate the situation before entering combat, shouting for more aid if they think it necessary, especially if they feel they need backup from the clerics or mages. Another squad of 6 guards, EL5, arrives every 5th round to deal with the problem unless it is apparent that doing so is blatantly suicidal, although these guards might stay at a range and fire upon the enemy without closing to melee distance. If clerics are requested, minor clerics 1 CLR2 and 1 CLR5, accompanied by 6 more guards, arrive to participate, EL7. If mages are requested, one of the lesser mages, S or 4 or Sorcerer 4 or Wizard 4, arrives with 6 guards and a lieutenant, EL7. Should these groups prove insufficient to repel or slay the invaders, a captain comes with one of the lesser clerics, Cleric 7, or a mage, Sorcerer 9, or Wizard 9, and a squad of 6 guards, EL9, for cleric group, EL11 for mage group. No, EL9 for cleric group, EL11 for mage group. The Bandeliers enters the fray only if commanded to by Blackwell, or if he is absent, the lesser cleric he placed in command, and Blackwell only appears if it seems that his minion have proven unable to defeat their opponent.